Hi everyone, it's Chrissie. Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to a really fun and exciting video. So I do just want to say a huge thank you to the EA Creator Network for making this video possible. I'm not paid by them, I'm not sponsored to make this video. They just gave me access to this pack quite a bit earlier than normal, so it is a little bit different from normal early access because this version of the game only has the base game and the new pack in it. So you will also see my EA Creator ID floating around the screen as well throughout all of these videos. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. I'm not paid to make these videos. I simply got sent the pack a little bit early. So with all of that said, let's jump on into the video. Hi everyone, so yeah, here we are in the video. This is our first speed build that we're doing with the new not horses, but the Horse Ranch expansion pack. Yes, I am still just calling it the horses pack in my head because Horse Ranch for some reason is really difficult for me to say with my accent and the way that I pronounce my R's. So yeah, we're back with the horses pack. This is actually the first video that you guys are going to be seeing with this pack, but I do have quite a few videos already recorded. There's actually going to be another one up later today that I will tell you about in just a second. But yeah, so this is our first speed build that we're doing with the pack, or at least the first one that you guys are seeing. And it's on a big 64 by 64 lot. It's the biggest size lot that we have in the game. It's also the biggest lot, obviously, in this world by extension. So yeah, we're building on the big, what's the original lot name? The lot name is Red Roan Field, I believe, and that's just the original lot name. So if you get the pack and you load up the game, this lot is actually going to be empty. So I decided that I wanted to fill it with a huge family ranch. Now when I say huge, I do mean huge. Like, this house is 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms. 4 of those bedrooms are part of the main house, and then the 5th bedroom is actually a totally separate, basically like a bachelor's or granny flat type of space. So it's only accessible via the outside, via that staircase that I actually have on the outside. So you go up there, you have a little balcony that you go through and you can access the little granny flat. So that will have a kind of like a studio flat setup. So you have a bedroom, living room, kitchen, small dining space all in one room. And it's not a full kitchen, it's just like a kitchenette with a fridge, almost said table, but a fridge and a microwave instead of having a stove as well. And then it has its own separate bathroom. I do apologize because it just started pouring down rain, obviously, because right as I sat down to do this voiceover, it decided to start raining. And it's been quiet all evening, and now it decided to start pouring down rain. So if you can hear something in the background, I do apologize. Hopefully it will pass soon, because I don't really want to stop this voiceover and wait for it to pass. So yeah, hopefully it will pass soon. Hopefully it's not too noticeable on my mic, because I do have my windows slightly open just for some fresh air in my bedroom, because I do have my door closed, so I do have the window open a little bit, so hopefully you can't hear it. But yeah, anyway, going back to the build. So yeah, the house, like I said, is absolutely gigantic. We have 4 bedrooms, technically 5 if you count the flat, but yeah, we have 5 bedrooms, 4 full bathrooms. Like, it has all of them have at least a shower in them. Most of them even have a bathtub as well. And then we also have a formal dining room, a breakfast area in the kitchen, which is also huge, a gigantic double-story living room, which is actually where I have those big glass ranch doors that I'm absolutely obsessed with. Then we also have obviously a big main bedroom with a walk-in closet, a huge ensuite. We have an office as well that could definitely be another bedroom if you needed another bedroom. And that is just the main house. So at the back of the main house, we also have obviously a little patio area with a grill, a table, some seating. I have a little fire pit back there. I also have a pool, like a really nice sized pool. There's some garden pots. There's a little kind of grape and fruit like tree vineyard orchard type of space to the side of the house. And then obviously a little monkey bars for the kids, and you know, just a bunch of activities in the backyard. I have a hot tub back there as well. And then that is not even like that's not even half of the actual lot space. So that's just the main house. So apart from the main house, like right next to it, we actually have a little separate, kind of semi-detached, almost, I guess you could say, building that in my head, you know, maybe used to be a garage or, you know, whatever, but the family that lives here actually turned it into a nectar space. So they have a little kind of mini like entertaining area. So I have a big bar out there, I have a little dance floor, a piano, like one of the standing pianos. I have obviously a stereo out there as well, and then out front of it there's a couple of like tables, like outdoor tables with chairs and stuff. I wanted to set it up as if maybe the family that lives here run their own like nectar company or something, and that's kind of like their, I guess, headquarters almost. So maybe they would host parties and tastings and all of that stuff. So the lot is kind of it's kind of meant to look like a semi-commercial type of space as well. So in my head, the backyard, the space that's fenced off by this hedge, that's kind of like the family's private backyard. Like, you know, that's just for the family. You know, random people aren't allowed back there. But then you have that little like nectar space that's kind of like, you know, maybe they would host functions and stuff like that, and you know, have employees that work there, and you know, everything like that. So I wanted to make that look a little bit more commercial in that sense. That also has a staircase that leads down into the cellar that I end up putting in later, where I actually have the nectar making like objects, as well as some storage and stuff like that to age nectar, all of that stuff. Then we also have that little small building off to the right hand side of the lot if you look at it from the front. So that's just like that single small building that I actually end up turning into a garage. So in The Sims you don't really have a use for garages because we don't really have cars, like functional cars. But I do turn that into a semi like storage hobby type room. So I put a couple of pieces of workout equipment in there. I put an easel with some like painting storage, stuff like that. Maybe one of the Sims is into art, so that's kind of where they do some of their painting. I have, like I said, a couple of pieces of workout equipment. I think I have a weights machine and a punching bag in there. And then I also include a couple of woodworking benches just to make it look like, you know, this is where they would do stuff. I mean, they are on a farm, they're on a ranch, so they probably have a need to like fix stuff and make stuff. So yeah, they have space for that. And then the final building is actually the stables. So I did a like stable building right at the front of the lot that actually is quite big. It's quite a nice size. There's 4 horse beds in there. So again, in my head, I thought maybe this ranch served sort of a dual purpose. So yes, the main house is for a single family that lives there, probably a very big family. And then, you know, they have obviously the nectar space, they have the stables that's quite big. So I figured, you know, why not pretend that, you know, maybe this is some sort of basically like a ranch or a farm or whatever where people could stable their horses. So the horses that live in this barn, they don't all belong to this one family. Maybe they belong to some other Sims, and other Sims like pay them to basically rent out a stall for their horse if they don't have space for them on their lots. So yeah, or maybe like Sims from Willow Creek have a horse that they stable here, and you know, they just make the commute to this area when they want to like take care of their horse, ride their horse, you know, all of that stuff. So that's what's kind of my thinking. Now obviously there's no gameplay for that in the game. Like you can't technically like stable other Sims' horses on your lot, if that makes sense. There's no gameplay for that. But that's kind of just the idea that I had in my head, and I did take inspiration from places around where I live for that kind of stuff, because yeah, I see a lot of that stuff where I live, where, you know, I live in a kind of semi-city town type thing. I mean, we're like 40 minutes at most from a like super big city. Like, it's one of our country's main cities. So we're not technically in their suburbs, but we're in a kind of like semi-metropolitan area, I guess you could say. And, you know, but then also right at the outskirts of it, like 10 minutes tops from where I live, you have huge farms and equestrian centers and a lot of people with horses and everything. And a lot of those people that ride horses where I live, they live in the more central town part. So obviously they can't have their horse in the middle of a suburban like street or suburban neighborhood. So they stable their horses just outside of town in like farms where people live, and they have extra space, and you know, people stable their horses there, and you know, stuff like that. So that was kind of what I was pulling inspiration from. So for this stable we have two kind of separate spaces. So we have this space that's technically considered outside by the game standards, or at least the lighting looks like it's outside. But yeah, we have these two stables or stalls that kind of like face each other. And then on this interior building, we have again two stalls or like two beds for horses, but they're not separated off, so they don't have gates leading into them. So maybe in my head I figured that one would be for the family that lives here, and then they would rent out the stalls on the outside, if that makes sense, in that little like brown building. But yeah, so that was kind of just my thought process. And currently we're actually pulling out a couple of mini goats and mini sheep from the debug menu, because I wanted to also include space for those guys. So I have this little paddock area almost that I set up separately from the rest of the build, because I tried to make this lot like, yes, it's this absolutely gigantic lot, and I didn't want the house to take up too much of the space. So I tried to separate it out as best as I could to make almost like dedicated spaces for the different things that you can do. So I have this fake little like, what do you call it? I can never remember what you call it. A vineyard. I have this fake vineyard at the front that I created with some debug like grapevines that we have in the new pack. So I used that to make that little fake vineyard. I have obviously, you know, the horses area. I have this training area for them as well, right at the back of the lot behind the stables. So they have a little jumping obstacle, a barrel racing thing, and then just, you know, some toys and stuff right at the front of the stables eventually. And then I wanted to include the space for the goats and sheep like off of the, or like right behind the actual like garage hobby space, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of where I put those guys. I used this cute little like shack, almost like this really run down like shack from the debug menu, to kind of make it look like that's supposed to be like, you know, obviously they're free roaming. They're kind of free roaming the way chickens are, but they're not tied to a specific object. So basically you can either get them from the debug menu like I did, or you can go into town to the general store and buy them there. You can buy them if you click on like a horse bed, or if you click on a like hay feeder as well, you can buy them that way. But I just grabbed them from the debug menu because it was the easiest way to kind of like see what they all look like. So I do have 4 mini goats and 4 mini sheep on this lot. So I wanted to make it look like they do have their own little like shelter space. You know, they have that little shack almost that kind of supposed to be a shelter for them. Obviously it's not functional. They can't even like go into it, I don't think. But I don't know, I like the way it looked. And then in the middle of the lot, we have this really big like driveway area with this like fountain from the debug menu that I found. And I kind of tried to use these debug cars and trucks and stuff to make it look like, you know, they've pulled into this space. They've pulled into the space. They've kind of like pulled around the little fountain as well. I have a little horse box attached. I say attached, but I mean like just close to one of the trucks to make it look like, you know, that's where they would like transport their horses in and all of that stuff. So yeah, that is basically the exterior of the build. We're currently working on the little front patio area that's attached to the little nectar barn, I guess you could say. And we're actually going to be starting like pulling out items for that. I do that a lot in this build, where I will go and I'll like just pull out a bunch of items, because this was actually the first build that I did when I got access to the pack, when I got access to this special version of the pack, which I don't think I've mentioned it in the voiceover, but I know I mentioned it in the intro. But yeah, this is a totally separate version of the game. Like, it's not in my normal game where I have, you know, access to all of my other packs. It's a completely separate version of the game. So I only had access to the base game and the new pack, and I couldn't like use any mods or anything like that. So I didn't have my reshade, I didn't have like tool or better build buy or anything like that. So it was a little bit of a struggle in that sense, mostly with sizing objects up and down. I'm so used to using tool for that, as well as like moving items more precisely. But I managed to work around it, and I do really like the way all of these builds turned out that I did. But yeah, so because it's a totally separate version of the game, I do have my gallery ID like floating around the screen, my like EA ID. I really hope that it's not too distracting for you guys. I know it's a little bit disorienting with it sped up the way that it is, but honestly, I am so used to looking at it at this point that I sincerely don't even notice it at all. Hopefully it's not super distracting, but yeah, I do apologize for that. But yeah, so that is just like something that I wanted to mention. I know I mentioned it in the intro, but I just wanted to reiterate that a little bit. So basically with this build, I tried to use as many of the items as I could, and I tried to make it as like playable as I could. I tried to include as many of the activities and things like that that you can do. So yeah, I really like the way it turned out, and like I mentioned, I did do a couple of builds with this like early access version that I had. So obviously I did this build, and this build was actually the very first build that I did when I got access to the pack. So obviously you guys know by now that I did get the chance to build 3 of the actual like official in-game builds for this pack. So if you buy the pack, you will be getting 3 of my builds with it. Now, I did do 3 of those. I will have videos up about that whole process at some point. But yeah, so I do have 3 videos that I want to share of those builds with you guys at the later point. But this was the first like build that I actually did when I got access to like the finished game, basically. I mean, this like version of the game isn't final, obviously, and that's why I do have that little like software not final disclaimer on the screen. But this is kind of like, basically it's more final than the one that I built my official lots with, if that makes sense. So yeah, this was the first build that I did with my early access, and then after this I actually went ahead and did 4 more. So I do have 5 speed builds that I have to share with you guys, and I actually didn't think I would be able to do as like that many of them, if I'm being completely honest. Now, I have no idea in what order you're seeing them in, or you know, if I'm going to be posting like regular videos in between, because obviously at the time you guys are seeing this, I do have the game in my I do have the pack in my like regular game, so I have access to my mods and my other packs and you know, all of that stuff. So I really want to do a build with all of the packs as soon as I possibly can. But I do have 4 other builds after this one that I want to share with you guys. I just don't know in what order they're going to be going up in. I don't know, you know, if I'm going to be doing like, I say quote unquote regular videos in between them or what. But yeah, keep your eyes out on the channel for that, because the other ones aren't like this. I built another build on this big lot, a completely different build. And then I did 4 more residential lots. So I did a starter home, and then not 4 more, 3 more. Yeah, 3 more. I did this build, I did the other build on this big lot, and then I did a starter home and 2 other residential lots. So not resident, no, they're not residential. One of them is residential, the other one is a community lot as well. So basically I did 2 community lots, one on this lot, like a really big build, and then I did another community lot and then 3 residential ones. This one, a starter home, and another home. So yeah, I just confused myself completely. But yeah, so that is what I did. Like I said, don't know what order they're going to be going up in, but we will see. I really like the way they all turned out. And the great thing is that all of these videos that I'm doing with this early access version is only the base game and the new pack. So if you don't have any of the other packs or anything like that, then you can download all of these builds. If you just have this pack, the base game, you're good to go. I didn't use any mods or anything like that either. So I obviously did use cheats because, come on, of course I'm going to do that after, you know, building the official lots for this pack where I couldn't use any cheat or anything like that. You know, I had to use cheat. I had to see what was in the debug menu and what I could do with like move objects and debug and live edit and, you know, all of that stuff. So yeah, I did use cheats for all of these, but I didn't use any mods or any other packs or anything like that. So yeah, let me know what you guys think of them, and if you want to use them, obviously I will try and get them up on the gallery. Now, because this was a completely different version of the game, I didn't have access to the gallery. Like, you physically could not put the game like online. You couldn't access the gallery at all, so I couldn't upload it to the gallery. I also couldn't save them to my, like, you know, library for like my tray files. So what I had to do is I had to like back up my save files of this like whole thing, and then I'm going to be putting those in my regular game and then praying that they actually work. Because if they work, then I can open up these save files and I can upload these builds to the gallery that way. So hopefully by the time you guys are seeing this, I will have been able to do that and the build will be up on the gallery. If it is, I will update the description to include a gallery download link, as I always do. And my gallery ID as well is always in the description, whether, you know, I have a download link or not. My gallery ID is always down there. And most of my videos, most of my builds as well, are all custom content free unless I specifically state otherwise. And usually if I do a custom content build, I will put it like in the video title, like I will put like with CC, and I'll mention it like in the description as well. So yeah, all of my builds are usually without custom content, so definitely go ahead, check that out. Keep an eye on the description if you guys want to download the build. Obviously, tray files will also be up for channel members immediately, as you know, as soon as I can upload the build. I will have tray files up for channel members, and then in 3 weeks they'll be going up on my Tumblr as well, which is, like I said, always linked in the description. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about this build. So that is basically, I don't know, I feel like I've been talking like 100 miles a minute and my throat is absolutely hating me right now. I don't know why. I've been sick like off and on for like the past 3 weeks. I mean, I know last week I was really sick when I recorded some stuff. So like I was actually like physically sick. Like I had a cold. I, you know, had meds for it and all of that stuff. But even in the tour for this video, for this build, I did the tour for this last week. So in that, I sound like I'm actually dying or something, which was really bad. My voice completely gave out on me at one point because I was just recording so much. And yeah, I don't know, I still feel kind of sick. Like most of my symptoms are gone, but I still have a cough and my throat still does not want to cooperate. So if I talk for like longer than 15 minutes at a time, my throat just absolutely hates me and my voice feels like it's going to give out. So if I sound a little bit more out of breath than normal, I do apologize. But yeah, it's what we're dealing with right now, and I really want to get this video out for you guys. So yeah, hope you still enjoy it. Hope you don't mind me sounding a little bit off, if that makes sense. Hopefully the excitement in my voice kind of masks that fact. But yeah, you will have to let me know. But yeah, so something else that I wanted to mention is, I know I mentioned earlier in the video that I will be having another video out today. And obviously this video is going up on Wednesday. right as the embargo lifts, right as I can post it. This is the first video you guys are going to be seeing from me about this pack. But in a couple of hours, probably maybe like an hour or so from the time that this goes up, maybe 2 hours later, I will actually have a world overview up as well. So I will leave that linked in the description and on the screen as soon as it's out. But it will also be a part of my horse ranch, like not trailer, horse ranch playlist that I will have a link in the description of all of these videos. I'll also try and make a point to remember to link it at the end of the video as well, because that playlist is going to be like a, you know, catch-all space for all of my videos about this pack. So all of these early access videos, my trailer reactions, the eventual videos that I will be doing about the process of building for the pack, those will all be in that playlist. So that's kind of the place to go if you want to find any of my like horse ranch content. But yeah, definitely keep an eye out for that. Also keep an eye out on the community tab, because there's a lot of times I will update you guys on videos or like channel plans, schedules, you know, all of that kind of stuff. I'll update you on the community tab. And even before that, before the community tab, I always update you over on our Discord server, which is linked in the description. Completely free to join, it's open to everyone. But if you're a channel member, you have like a special badge, and you also have access to separate channels as well. That's just for members. But yeah, that is always linked in the description if you want to go ahead and check that out. But I also update you guys over on Twitter. Like, Twitter is usually the first place that I update. Twitter, and these days Threads as well, which again, always linked in the description. But yeah, keep an eye out on the community tab, like I said, because I will be like hopefully posting some sort of schedule at some point as soon as I can decide on what I'm posting when and on, you know, as soon as I can like be sure that I can commit to it, because I might be having family over on literally tomorrow, I think. When you guys are watching this, if you're watching it on Wednesday, I might actually be having my nephew coming over to stay tomorrow on the 20th. And he'll be here for like a week, I think, because he needs to go in for another operation on his wrist, because he broke his wrist like a month ago in a rugby match. He plays for the Sharks, and he broke his wrist really, really badly. And he had to go in for an operation, and now he needs to go back in for like other stuff. So he's going to be here again. And I don't know if he's staying with me or if he's staying with like other family, but we'll have to see. So if he's staying with me, then yikes. I mean, I have a really hard time recording with other people in the house. Like, usually I record in the middle of the night when no one can hear me, or I can't bother anyone. There's no one around to make noise or anything like that. And if I do have to record during the day when other people are around, it's usually just my like immediate family. So usually it would have been just my mom, or, you know, my mom and my dad or whatever. And, you know, that's just, I'm used to recording around them. But if it's like my nephew, then I feel like it feels weird. I say my nephew, which I know it sounds kind of weird because I'm like 25 and he's like 23. So he's more like my brother, but we basically grew up together. But yeah, it's just weird having him around when I record. And then his girlfriend is also probably going to be flying in on the 23rd. So yeah, I'm very likely going to have a very full house. So hopefully I can get all of the actual recording done that I want to get done, because the videos are already done. The footage is already there. I just need to edit all of them, which is going to take a while. I mean, this video took me like all day on Tuesday to edit, because I had like almost 8 hours of footage. But yeah, I need to do all of the editing and all of the voiceovers, and that is kind of, I need to figure out what my schedule is going to be like. But if I can nail down a schedule, and if by some miracle I can manage to record a couple of voiceovers, or like actually edit very, very quickly somehow, then I might actually have a schedule to share with you guys. But if not, then just keep an eye on the channel. I mean, turn on the notifications as well, because YouTube has this, like, Basically, if you're subscribed to a channel and you click to turn on notifications, click on the little bell, and then there will be a drop down menu where you can choose like personalized, none, or all notifications. Make sure you click all, because if it's set to personalized, then YouTube kind of decides whether they want to notify you about an upload or not. So that's kind of like, it's kind of annoying, which it basically means that you can still miss updates or like uploads even if you have notifications on. So you need to set it to all to make sure that, you know, it will notify you every time I upload. So yeah, definitely do that if you want to like not miss anything. Or keep an eye on Twitter, because I will, like I said, I always update Twitter. I kind of rant on Twitter a lot as well, so it's a very like, I guess, casual way to get to know me. And you can always reach me on there as well. Same with Discord. So yeah, definitely keep an eye on those, because if I need to like push a video back, or you know, if I'm super busy and I can't get to everything, then Twitter and Discord will always be the first to know. But yeah, that is a very long-winded way of me telling you that I have a bunch of videos that I want to share, that I just need to find the time to share and actually get done, because I don't know how I managed to get like I don't know how I managed to get 5 speed builds recorded, and why I did it, because I knew I wasn't going to have enough time to actually edit them and voice over them before, you know, the pack came out, and I had the game, like I had the pack in my normal game. So I don't know why I did that, but I did, and I don't know. At least we now have like 5 builds that I've done where I don't have any other packs in them. So they're really easy to download, so that's good at least. But yeah, getting back to the actual build. So currently we're working on the little like granny / bachelor flat. So we already did all of the other bedrooms, all of like the main living spaces, everything like that. Basically, we have obviously the main bedroom downstairs. Upstairs we have 2 rooms for what I thought would be teenagers. So that's kind of how I decorated their rooms. And then we have a room with a couple of bunk beds that I thought would be for a couple of kids. Now, the only reason that I did it that way, and I didn't include stuff for toddlers or infants, is just because I wanted to use all of the new beds, if I'm being completely honest. And the pack doesn't have any new furniture for like toddlers or infants specifically. So I wanted to use all of the new beds. So I decided, you know, they'll have like teenagers and children. And then obviously we have this little like granny flat. I say granny flat because that's just what we would call it over here. But obviously this could be for anyone. This could be for another child that's maybe like a young adult and they still live at home but they have their own space. Maybe it's for a grandfather, a grandmother, whoever you want to have live there, you can have live there. You could even set it up to be for a butler if you really wanted to. But yeah, just a little like, basically a completely separate apartment that just doesn't have a stove in it. So yeah, that's kind of how I have that set up. And then we've actually started working on the little like back patio space that I have underneath this really big, like, I don't know what you would call this kind of roofing that I did, because I know there's a specific name for it and I physically just cannot remember right now. Like I said, I'm recording this really late at night and I'm a little bit loopy. I'm running on like 5 hours of sleep. I've only slept like 5 hours every night for like the past week. So I am very tired and my brain is like, after spending all day editing this, I'm recording this on the same day that I edited it. So after spending all day staring at the footage, editing this build, I feel like my brain has just shut off. And I physically can't remember anything. So yeah, I don't know. I can't remember what that kind of roofing is called, but I absolutely love the way it looks. I did something similar on the front with the front porch, just obviously on a smaller scale. And it was totally inspired. I will say it was totally inspired by one of the builds that 𝘰𝘊 actually did for this pack as well. So she obviously also built 3 of the lots. Ninster and then Dr. Ashley also built 3 each, like each built 3 of the lots as well. But that kind of like roof design was totally inspired by something that Fry did for one of her houses. That's actually in this same neighborhood. This is the Riders Glen area of the world. Kind of like the ranch's, you know, nectar making space, or like area. So she actually did something very similar to that for the big ranch that she built. So yes, I did kind of take inspiration from that idea. I will admit that. But that is such an iconic, feature for a lot of ranch houses. I needed to include it in one of my builds, and I love the way it looks. So yeah, you guys will have to let me know what you think about this build, what you think about, you know, everything that I included and everything that you've seen so far about this pack. Obviously, there are quite a few I keep saying game changers, but like EA Creator Network creators, I don't know, I feel like game changers just sounds better. But anyway, there are quite a few other creators that are part of the Creator Network that have also got early access, where they also obviously recorded videos that they have, or like that they will be sharing, which, you know, definitely go ahead, check that out. I'm sure if you're a simmer and you follow a couple of simmers, then your like feed, like YouTube feed at this point is probably flooded with horse ranch videos, because I know a lot of simmers, especially bigger ones, did get access. So I feel like most people follow, you know, a very, not specific, but like a very, there's definitely a set of simmers I feel like that most people follow, and I know they all got access, so they will probably be posting videos like all at the same time. So yeah, definitely let me know what you think about the pack, if you've watched any of the early access videos or anything like that, or, you know, all of that stuff. Let me know what you think about the pack. Let me know if you're going to be getting it. I know a couple of you have told me already that you've already pre-ordered the pack because you really want the items and you really want horses and all of that stuff, and you also really want to see my builds. So yeah, that honestly, that means a lot. The fact that people will be playing in my builds are like, it's such a surreal feeling. Even like still, even getting the pack and seeing them in the pack myself, it still feels unreal. So like I mentioned in, I don't know in what videos I mentioned this in, but if you guys play in any of my builds, whether it's these builds that I'm going to be uploading to the gallery, or in the 3 builds that I did for the pack, then definitely feel free to tweet pictures at me, tag me in them on Twitter, tag me in them on Threads. Both of those @s are exactly the same. It's just @ChrissieYT. Literally the same as my gallery ID and the name that's floating around the screen. So it's really easy to remember. But yeah, feel free to tag me in pictures on Twitter and Threads, or post it in our Discord, or, you know, stuff like that if you play with my builds. I would love to see that. So yeah, definitely let me know what you think about my builds. Let me know what you think about the pack, and, you know, if you've seen some of the early access stuff, if you're watching this after the pack has actually released for everyone and you've had a chance to play with it yourself, again, let me know what you think about it. Also, you will have just seen me paint the ceilings. Yes, that is a feature. It's actually something that came with the base game update that came out on Tuesday. So yeah, with that update, we actually got the ability to paint ceilings, and we can paint ceilings with literally any of the floor tiles that we have in the game. So the pack actually has a couple of floor like textures that kind of look like they're specifically made to go on ceilings, so they kind of look like wooden beams and stuff. But you can literally put anything up there, so you can put like carpet on the ceiling if that's something that you wanted to do. So yeah, it's really customizable and actually really fun to play around with, because you can do it like by room, or like single tiles or quarter tiles or anything like that, kind of the same way that you can do with flooring. So yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that I honestly can't wait to see what simmers do with that feature. And you can also now access tab, like the tab free person camera angle thing, right from build mode. So usually if you wanted to take like thumbnail pictures of a build for a video or whatever, you would need to have a sim on the lot so that you could go into tab mode, where it's kind of like a free person camera, so like first person camera, and it gets rid of all of the UI and stuff. But now, after the update, you can actually do that right from build mode. And before this, I needed to have a mod, actually, that enabled you to do that. But now it's actually part of the game. So that's really, really cool. And I know so many builders that are absolutely ecstatic about that. So yeah, that is really awesome. But we're just going to be working on the little, like, I guess garage space. I'm going to call it a garage. But the little garage space where we have, obviously, the woodworking benches, the little painting corner, you know, all of the workout stuff. There isn't a lot of stuff in the base game itself that would really be useful for a room like this. I mean, if I had seasons, I would have added, like, the flower arranging table, or, I don't know, if I had, I don't know, maybe, like, get together, I would have added the dartboard, or, you know, just some more hobby type of stuff. I mean, obviously, I haven't really, like, I haven't actually played the normal game since I've had, like, this early access. So I haven't played the game in like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks. So at this point, I physically cannot remember what is in the normal game and what isn't. My brain is just stuck on Horse Ranch and horses and all of the items that came with this pack, because I've been building with it so much that I just cannot remember anything else. But yeah, like I said, I'm really excited to actually do some builds with the normal game and, you know, with my other packs, and to see how the pack interacts with the other packs, because obviously you can't really see all of the gameplay with just these like early access versions where you only have the base game, because you can't see the cross pack gameplay and, you know, how horses function with other worlds, because obviously we have access to the base game worlds, but Oasis Springs and Willow Creek and Newcrest aren't really like horsey type worlds. I mean, I would love to see horses in Brindleton Bay and, you know, maybe Copperdale and Strangerville. That is going to look so cool. And, you know, places like that, Moonwood Mole. So I can't wait to go and check out what, you know, horses, how they will work in those worlds, because obviously horses aren't restricted to just this world. You can have a horse in any world. Like in any world that you want to live, you can have a horse in that world. If you want to have a horse in 𝘰𝘠𝘢, good luck to you, because they can't use elevators or staircases, so you can't get them inside apartments. But if you want to live on one of the lots in 𝘰𝘠𝘢 and have a horse, by all means, it's just going to look a little bit weird, but you can do it if you want to. But you won't have any random horses walking around in other worlds, only in this one, which honestly I don't mind, because that is the only world where it kind of makes sense to have random horses walking around, or to have Sims on horses walking around is in this world. So I don't really mind that, but if you want to live in like Moonwood Mole and have a horse, you can totally do that. But yeah, with all of that said, we're going to be doing a little bit more cluttering outside, and that is going to be it for this speed build. But after this, we're actually going to be hopping into the game again, and we're actually going to be doing a little live tour of this build. So hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll see you in the tour. Okay, so here we are in the game with the finished build that I just did. I just want to give you guys a quick little disclaimer, but I am recording this like tour video, like tour portion, way in advance of actually doing the voiceover that you would have just heard. So at the point I'm recording this, I haven't edited the video yet, I haven't done the voiceover, I have no idea what I was going to talk about or anything like that. So yeah, just apologies for that. I also just want to mention that obviously I probably mentioned this in the voiceover, but the game that I'm working with right now and the footage that you saw is not final software. So yeah, just a little disclaimer out there. And then that is also why my name is floating around the screen. And yeah, it will be doing that for all of my early access videos. I'll have my like name popping around the screen. Hopefully it's not too like distracting, but that's just because this is a completely separate version of the game. So that is actually built into the game itself. It's not something that's been put on the screen in like post-production editing. It's literally on the game as I'm playing. So yeah, just a little heads up with that. And then the last thing is that I am sick at the point that I'm recording this. I do have a little bit of a cold or something. So if I sound a little bit congested or short of breath, or you know, anything like that, if my voice sounds a little bit weird, my throat is kind of sore. So yeah, apologies for that. Hopefully by the time that I have to do the voiceover, which is probably going to be a long one, I'll be a little bit better. But yeah, currently that's just what we're working with at the moment. And I'm also recording this in the middle of the day, so if you hear my dog in the background or anything like that, I do apologize. But yeah, so this is the build that we ended up like finishing with, I guess you could say. It's on the 64x64 lot in the, I keep forgetting the world's name. It's Chestnut Ridge, and I can't remember the like neighborhood name at all. You guys will probably see like a world overview as well up. I don't know if it'll be up before this video or after it, but I will be doing a world overview. But yeah, so this is the biggest lot in the new world. It's a 64x64 lot. And the only reason I did the build on this lot is because I wanted to have a lot of outdoor space. So you'll notice that the house itself isn't like too big. It's still quite big. I mean, it's a 5-bedroom 4-bathroom house, but we have like 3 and like kind of 4 separate outdoor buildings. We have like, I guess, 2 or 3 separate spaces for like the yard area. So we have this yard area at the back where we have the pool and the monkey bars, you know, some planter boxes, a little hot tub. This is also only with the base game and the new pack. So yeah, if you have the base game and you get the new pack, you'll be able to download this. I don't know if I will be able to get this on the gallery. Hopefully I will be able to transfer my save over once I have the game in my regular game, or like the pack in my regular game, and then upload it to the gallery. But yeah, hopefully I'll be able to do that. If I can, I will add a download link to the description once it's up. But yeah, so we have a little nice outdoor space. We have a really nice seating area, like dining, outdoor dining. We have the new grill that came with the pack, as well as a little fire pit area. I absolutely love the way I did, you know, these spandrels, like this overhang area. I did it at the front as well, by the front door, but obviously on a little bit of a smaller scale. And I will admit, I did get the inspiration for this from one of Fry's Simproves builds for the pack that actually shipped with the pack. So yeah, I did get inspiration for that from one of her builds. But yeah, so we have a little big, like, I guess jungle, I don't know what you would call this, jungle gym, jungle something or other. But the big pirate ship for kids. We have a horse, which, yeah, no, the horse isn't supposed to be there. Just ignore that. But yeah, we have some more clutter. I also put down a little garden space. So we have a couple of fruit trees. Over here we have like a whole row of blackberries, grapes, and strawberries for nectar making. And then you can access the kind of like horse training area. So we have the jumping thing. We have the barrel racing where they can practice. And then through there, you can also access kind of like, I kind of tried to split these buildings up into different things. So in the front, we obviously have this big driveway. And then we have a kind of like, not orchard, but like, I don't know what you'd call it. I can't think of the name right now. But basically where you grow grapes for nectar or wine in the real world. But yeah, we have that. And then this kind of barn area, outdoor building area, is kind of for horses. So this whole thing is kind of like a big stable barn type thing. So in here we have a couple of horse beds. We have obviously, you know, the hay feeders. We have a water trough. We have, you know, some decorative saddles, kind of where I would imagine they'd go and clean the horse's hooves, you know, stuff like that. Through this sliding door or through the outside, we have a couple more horse beds. You know, just very nice space to have quite a few different horses. Out front, we have some decoration things. We have a couple of balls for your horses to play with, which is really cute. If you see them do that, it's really, really cute. And then in this one over here, by the little windmill that I got from Debug, we actually have kind of the, I guess, stereotypical garage type space. So this is kind of like an all-purpose random skill building space. So we have an easel, like a little painting corner. We have a couple of pieces of workout equipment, a couple of like woodworking benches. There's not many activities and stuff that you could put in a garage in the base game, but I tried to make use of it as best as I possibly could. I didn't want to turn this outhouse or like this building into another stables. So yeah, we have some skill building stuff through this gate as well as through that one from the backyard, like the, I guess, proper backyard space. We have a little paddock kind of area or enclosure area that I thought would be for the goats, because yeah, I do have a couple of mini sheep and goats like running all over the place, but I figured that would be a great place to like kind of keep them, because you can lock the gates to not allow them through. So I figured that would be a great space for that. And then the last outhouse or like outbuilding is this one that's the closest to the house. So I figured this would be a great space for it to have a little bit of a like a kind of like a gathering party space. So we have a couple of tables out front, we have a dance floor inside, a big jukebox, we have a standing piano as well as a big bar and bar back. So this is kind of where I pictured, you know, the Sims to come and like have parties and stuff like that. We have a couple of nectar racks. And then down here, you can actually access the cellar that I put in. So this is where I have the nectar making stations and then just a bunch of clutter and kind of storage stuff to make it look like, you know, this is where they age the nectar. And yeah, just I love the look of that. I love that idea. Maybe the Sims that live here love having big get-togethers and have a lot of friends and stuff. So yeah, they use that a lot. Now, that is the entire outdoor space. I probably mentioned it in the voiceover, but I try to incorporate a little bit of a more modern touch. So that's why we have these big windows, we have this overhang, this modern kind of like platform awning type bit around that like outdoor, I guess, kind of like walkway space, as well as over at the back here to the granny flat that I added. Yeah, as a little seating piece, kind of to make it look a little bit more modern, like it's been renovated or added on. But yeah, so let's get into the main house. So if you come in, you have this obviously big porch area, you have a huge entryway, and then we have an absolutely gigantic 2-story tall like living room. So we have a big fireplace, TV, you know, these big windows that I didn't want to cover up with curtains. So yeah, we have that, and then we have an absolutely gigantic living room space. Now to the side, we have the big kitchen area with a big island, a little breakfast nook, some more space for nectar. And then through here, we have the formal dining room, where we also have a nice big fireplace, you know, very fancy. I have this family portrait thing up here, which obviously now it has my tester Sims in it, but if you download the house and you move Sims in, those Sims' portraits will actually show up in here. So that's really, really cute. And then going back through the entryway, we actually have right at the front of the house, we have a little office space with another garage in it. Not garage, it's not a garage, it's another piano. We have another piano in here. We have a bookcase, a little guitar, a little desk space as well with, you know, a computer and all of that stuff, some seating. I do apologize, my freaking cat is scratching at my door because I have my door closed and he can't come in right now. So yeah, apologies if you hear that, it's very annoying. But yeah, so that's the little office space. But downstairs we actually also have a full bathroom, so a shower, toilet, sink. That's kind of a guest bathroom, but it's also a full bathroom. A little hallway and entryway that leads into the main bedroom. So this is the main bedroom of the house. We have access to the backyard out of it as well, same as from the little breakfast area. But this bedroom has obviously a couple of dressers. We have the new small fireplace that also came with the pack. They have a little walk-in closet space that I did with, you know, some of the new hanging clothes and stuff that came with this pack. And then they also have a really, really big main bathroom. So they have the new bathtub and obviously a lot of the new counters and just made it look nice and open and spacious. But that is the entire first floor. Now going up the stairs, we actually have a little landing space over here where I put down a small round dining table as the desk for the two kids. So I couldn't fit a desk into the kids' bedroom, and I figured, you know, having it out here would kind of be not like really nice, because this whole upper floor is basically just for the kids. So I figured, you know, having them have their desk out here isn't too weird. So yeah, we have that. And then over here, the first door that you get to is actually the kids' room. So I do have a couple of bunk beds in here. It's a little bit more colorful than the rest of the house, obviously, which I actually really like. We have the new cute little sheep rug, you know, the new dollhouse that I sized down one. I will admit I did size that down. But yeah, we have that. We have a little activity table, you know, dresser, all of that regular kids stuff. I love this swatch of those beds with little sheep on them. They're so cute. And then going through this landing space, we have another hallway where we have kind of like the main family bathroom. So we just have a shower, a couple of sinks, bathtub, toilet, you know, this is kind of like the kids' bathroom basically. And then we have two teenager rooms. So we have one room that's a little bit lighter, a little bit more white and, you know, light green. I figured maybe this teenager is, I don't know, maybe into writing or music or something. I tried to keep this house as generic as I possibly could, while still making it look like it's been decorated. But I didn't have any specific Sims in mind. So yeah, we have one kind of lighter and brighter teenager's room. And then we have another teenager's bedroom, like right at the front of the house. That's definitely for a painter, as you can see. So this one is a little bit more colorful. I use like greens and yellows and blues and stuff, which I actually really like the combination of these colors. So we're using yet another one of the new beds. And yeah, just a couple of, you know, very artsy kind of vibe. They don't have a laptop, but they do have a tablet. And then obviously they have all of their painting stuff. And yeah, I absolutely love the way this room turned out. They also have a little Lindsay speaker as well. And that is the main portion of the house. Now, the other part of the house that you only can access from the backyard is actually this kind of like bachelor's or granny flat type space. I figured it would be for one of the grandparents. Maybe they have a grandparent living with them and they kind of live on their own. So they have their kind of like a loft, almost studio apartment. So they have a nice bed over there. They have a little kitchenette, no stove, but they do have a microwave and a tea maker, fridge, you know, all of that stuff. A little small dining table. They also have their own little seating, like living room space with a couple of chairs, a rocking chair, a regular chair, a little like fireplace, a little TV and music thing as well. So they can listen to music, can watch TV. And then they just have their own little bathroom as well. So yeah, that is basically the entire build, you guys. It is absolutely gigantic. There is a third floor, but the third floor is literally just for aesthetics from the outside. So yeah, this is a little top-down view of the floor plan. I'll put the grid on for you as well. But yeah, this is the second floor and then obviously the first floor. And yeah, that is the main floor plan. Obviously, we have all of these other buildings as well, but I can't even get the whole lot in one picture to show you the floor plan. But yeah, this is kind of the general layout of it. Yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it has probably been a very, very long one. I mean, this tour alone has been like 15 minutes. And I can't even imagine how long the like speed build portion is going to end up being. But I hope you enjoyed this nonetheless. Let me know if you have any other suggestions, like I probably mentioned in the voiceover. If you have any other suggestions for videos or anything that you'd like to see me build with the pack, then definitely let me know. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this. Like I said, I will try and have this up on the gallery as soon as I can. And then it's only base game and the new pack. So yeah, you should be all good to go with that. Obviously, all custom content free and everything. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, if you did, give the video a like, all of that fun YouTube stuff. And I will see you guys all in my very next video. Bye everyone.
You say we're through, it's true.